Incredibles 2. So, Incredibles 2 picks up pretty much right where Incredibles 1 left off, with the Underminer appearing, and from there the movie takes off. Supers are still illegal, and the Parr family is approached by a business tycoon who wants to help make supers legal again. He chooses Elastigirl as the figurehead of this movement. And that is explained in a way that makes perfect sense why she's chosen over Mr. Incredible, so you just have to watch the movie to get that. And with that, you get two different stories in this movie. Elastigirl attempts to paint supers in a positive light while chasing down a supervillain called Screenslaver, and Mr. Incredible has to deal with three kids with a variety of issues, including Jack, budding powers. It's crazy the stuff that they put in here. It brings some of the funniest scenes in the movie. Each of these stories are portrayed with equal importance, which keeps the focus on the family mentality that made the first Incredibles such a great movie. So let's go ahead and jump into this review. It is spoiler free if I did not already say that. The first Incredibles is among my favorite Pixar films, with the only other contenders for the top spot being the Toy Story films and Up, I guess. And after 14 years of waiting and having to kick some little kid out of the way to get into the theater, I finally got the long-awaited sequel, Incredibles 2. Yes! Incredibles 2 gives Mr. Incredible new challenges, where in the first one we saw him struggle to escape the struggles of mediocrity and recapture his younger days of fighting crime. This one has him struggling to let his wife take center stage in the eyes of the superhero community while he focuses on being a super dad. It is not a new idea, but it is executed in such a way that it works really, really well here. Elastigirl's powers are showcased great in this movie. Some really unique ideas to stretchy powers that we have never seen on screen, allowing for some really fun, intense action scenes. I also love Craig T. Nelson, Holly Hunter, Sam Jackson. They're all back as the voices. It gives that sense that absolutely no time has passed in between Incredibles 1 and Incredibles 2. They are as great as ever, and it's really awesome because you really get a lot more Frozone in this movie. Top-notch animation from Pixar on display. Pixar has jumped leaps and bounds in the animation department since the first film. Amazing lighting and textures really add to the atmosphere of each scene, and I can't speak enough positives about the action sequences. There are just some things in animation that live action can't accomplish, and they use that leg up to deliver some really unique action scenes that you will never see in a live action movie. I absolutely love the art direction. There's a great mix of 50s, 60s style design to everything in the movie, just like in the first film. The TV shows that they show in this are in black and white, and they even use an original episode of Johnny Quest in one of the scenes. The Incredibles live in a world of MASH time periods, and it is awesome. I love it. Director Brad Bird, who directed the first entry, along with other great animated movies like Iron Giant, Ratatouille. I love those. He's been talking for years about a sequel to The Incredibles, but he did not want to do a sequel unless he could come up with a story worth making. It took about 14 years, but this is the kind of film you get when you give a sequel time to be made. This is not a forced sequel. It is a natural progression from the first film, and it is a really, really fun ride. You know what? We needed a lot more Edna Mode in Incredibles 2. She is not in the movie that much, but in the scenes that she is in are some of the best. Such an interesting, fun character. I would have liked to see her utilized more. Fun fact, she's actually voiced by Brad Bird himself. You know what? Maybe he just felt be too narcissistic to have more of his own character in the movie. I don't really care if it's narcissistic or not. I love that character. I would love to see more. Michael Giacchino's score adds so much to fill the movie. He scored the first film and utilizes that music to great effect here. He does a really good job while adding in some really new music. It's all great stuff. A weak point of the movie comes in the form of the villain. The first Incredibles had a great villain with Syndrome. His reasons made sense. He had an interesting perspective. You can tell that this guy wasn't unhinged when it came to dealing with Mr. Incredible. He took it personally. You bought into the fact that this guy would kill kids if he needed to, and he didn't really care. But he was also funny at times, and his look was memorable. I mean, just look at the ridiculous troll hair.
Who's super now? I'm Syndrome, your nemesis at it. Oh, brilliant.
Syndrome was awesome, but Screenslaver is the villain in Incredibles 2, and he just isn't as intimidating or ominous. When you figure out who Screenslaver is, it's really not all that surprising, and the motivations are really just kind of surface level. They don't make a whole lot of sense. The the villain doesn't live up to what came before, and it doesn't live up to the Incredibles themselves. That's one drawback for this film. So Incredibles 2 is not quite as good as the first one, but it's a solid film, and from a technical perspective, it's just amazing, amazing. Great character progression, and a story that continues directly from the first film 14 years ago. It also has a consistent message carried over from the first movie of a family sticking together. The Incredibles 2 is going to get 8.5 Incredibles. I don't know how to do a half. 8.5 Incredibles out of 10.